Jason asked me to take a few minutes and talk about person centered thinking and the one page introduction training. My wife and I have been on a journey with our two sons, Ronnie and Tanner, that at times has been very rewarding and other times has been somewhat challenging. Our two sons struggle somewhat with some developmental delay and some disability associated with that. In the process, we have struggled at times with settings such as family, community, schools, church, um, trying to translate some of the things that we are doing in our family to transfer them into other settings and make them work. Things that work in our home don't always work in other settings, and at times it's been rather frustrating. Over the last couple of years, some of the biggest areas of concern have been that of school, as we wanted to help them develop and to change and to move through successfully in school. It's been difficult to try to transfer and translate some of the things here into the school setting that are effective. About a year and a half ago, Jason asked us to consider going to a uh, person centered training, a 1 day training on the one page introduction. We agreed to that. We went and we spent the day, and our focus was on our son Tanner. Throughout the day, we developed a one page introduction for him, and it was quite an amazing process. At the end of the day, we were able to kind of take everything of that we had learned about our son and put it into a single word, and that was the word with. Throughout the training, we developed two different categories: those things that were important to Tanner and those things that were important for Tanner. Uh, we learned that there were some things that for Tanner that were very important to him. That meant that he needed to be with people all the time, whether that's classmates or teachers. There needed to be somebody in the room. He couldn't go to a pullout or a special education room and be by himself with a teacher and really accomplish a lot. He needed to feel like he was included or a part. If he wasn't included, then he would find ways to include himself, and that became problematic with behaviors and a number of things. We also found that there are things that are very important for Tanner, and that is that he needed people with him, people giving him supervision and accountability and support, reminding him of this or that, and helping him to be aware of his setting. Uh, we learned that that word with really was fundamental to who he was and what made him successful. We worked really hard in developing that concept, and we took the one page introduction and we took it into the school setting. It was in an IEP meeting where we first brought it in and introduced it. In that meeting, we were having some difficulty in coming to agreement on where we should go. When we brought that one page introduction in, it seemed to kind of bring that meeting together. It wasn't the silver bullet that took care of all our problems, but it definitely brought everybody onto the same page. We began to ask ourselves if the programming we had set up and the accommodations we had set were in line with the needs that were presented on that sheet. Some of the things we were doing already were meeting those needs. Other things were not. In fact, some of the things we were doing were very contrary to the needs that we identified. Throughout that process, we used that one page introduction as our guide, and the school was amazing in coming around and using that and helping us to identify those needs and identify programs that would help him specifically. And I really view that one page introduction as a turning point in our relationship with the school, as we were able to give that to the school, to various teachers. When he has a new teacher, we try to give that to the new teacher as well, to give them an idea of what is going to work best for this child. Uh, the discovery process, the 1 day training we went to, we came up with this product, this one page introduction, which is a very powerful tool in itself. But I do want to address the training itself. That 1 day was a very powerful day. It was a day of discovery. It was a day that we learned a lot about our child. We weren't presented with any new information, but the way they helped us to organize the information and the knowledge we had was very powerful and was really a turning point in us understanding our child. So I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be able to be part of that, and would speak very highly to anybody else that may be interested in pursuing that training. It's very valuable. Thank you.